Welcome to Learning Impact on Demand 2020 Solutions for Highly Effective Digital Teaching and Learning in response to the accelerated move to remote education. At IMS, we believe in the power of dynamic collaboration as a catalyst for digital innovation and transformation in education. In this spirit, we're bringing together leaders in our community, representing top institutions and EdTech suppliers to share knowledge and ideas for reimagining the educational experience and explore new opportunities for shaping the future of teaching and learning. Today's topic is focused on providing students with anytime, anywhere learning. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today, Lance Key. Lance is the Future Ready Support Specialist at Putnam County School System. Lance, welcome.
Thank you for having me today on the show. So we want to talk about how to provide students with anytime, anywhere learning. So first off, I'm Lance Key. I am the support specialist for Putnam County Vital, which we are a virtual school, but also provide support for 20 face-to-face schools that is in my district in Putnam County, Tennessee. So I'm a Google certified innovator. I actually have all the certifications here through Google certified trainer. I've provided over 300 trainings for Google in the Southeast of the United States. I have a few other certifications here. Mainly the biggest one is Canvas. I will be talking about LMSs today. If you hear me say Canvas, just realize that's universal for all LMSs. Lately, I have got my Microsoft certification because of all the school districts that I have been working with. All right, so as I was saying, our virtual school we run, our mission is actual virtual instruction to accentuate learning, and it's a program designed for students with a high quality, flexible, technology-based, anytime, anywhere education opportunity that allows them to maximize their potential to serve and participate productively in the 21st society. So to me, anytime, anywhere kind of fits our mode and our model anyway. So we're trying to prepare for this remote learning. So first I want to focus on the well-being of our teachers. First days of school, we usually come in, we're all excited, we're happy, things like that. But we're asking so much of our teachers right now. I feel like a lot of us are coming in like this. I heard one person say the other day that it's like we're reading through Harry Wong's First Days of School all over again, and we're all first-year teachers again with this remote learning situation going on. So let's actually talk about what are we asking of our teachers. So we're currently asking them to be content designers. We're asking them to go in and design content to prepare for remote learning. We're asking them to build lesson plans out. How are you going to push out this content that you're going to be using? We're also asking them to be videographers, just as we're doing right now. I'm having to film myself, and then they're going to have to go back and then be film editors. They're going to have to edit that film, get it ready and prepared to go. And then content curators. They're going to have to go find content from everywhere, bring it into their LMS, and then push it out to their students. And then they've got their traditional jobs that they got. They're teachers. They're in charge of the instruction that's going on. They've got to go in. They've got to grade this work. They're going to have to redirect students. They're going to have to motivate those students, and then they got to communicate back and forth with the students, the principals, the parents, all those people. So we're asking so much out of teachers. It would be great if we could find a way to give them a little bit of ease, a little bit of lift off of all the things we're asking them to do. So the ways that we communicate, and you may have different ways. Today we're using Zoom. We use Zoom to communicate out with our students synchronously. Others using Google Meets. There's some that are using Teams, things like that. So there's multiple different means of synchronous learning that's going on, and you can bring these right inside of your LMS. We're also using Loom. Loom is a great tool that I suggest people look into for asynchronous learning. You can go in, you can make videos over how to do things. And the big thing for me is students being at home, we've got to find a way to engage students in the learning because they're not with us right now. So how do we make this content so that it's engaging for them? So here's a few things that I got: Flipgrid, Edpuzzle, Nearpod, Pear Deck for some of you that are Pear Deck users. Those are great things that you can use. So first off, I want to talk to you about what is an LMS, okay, a learning management system. Just what is it? Okay, I like to think of it as my Swiss Army knife. It's my tool that I can pull out, that I can, I'm going to be prepared for any job that I need. A lot of times LMSs, though, for new teachers, feels robust, and it just feels like there's a lot of stuff, and I just don't know which button to click. But it's that Swiss Army knife that can do anything that we need it to do. The second thing is, I remember my dad always, as a kid, he wore a tool belt everywhere he went. And I now, being an adult myself, I'm starting to understand this because my tools are scattered everywhere. And because he had that tool belt on, so think about your tool belt in your classroom, that tool belt allowed him to have all the tools right around his waist that he needed to work on anything that he needed. Me, I'm having to run one place to the other, and I'm wasting so much time on one job that if I had my tool belt on that had all my tools in it, I could get it done quickly. So the LMS is kind of like that tool belt that's going to bring all these things together for us. Kind of another scenario you can think about, these are all things that we use, um, or different things that we use like YouTube, and as I said, Nearpod, Savvas Learning, which is the company we use for our content. We're using that with English and history right now. They're our content providers. But Google for education, all these other tools, but they're kind of like different plugs. So I remember I went to Sydney, Australia last May, and while I was over there, none of my plugs would work from the United States. So I had to get what was called a plug converter so that I could plug all of these things into one thing and then it would work. So that's what our LMS does for us. Again, we have Canvas that we use. Some of you may have Schoology, some of you may have Blackboard, D2L, any of those. They're all great LMSs. We chose Schoology for us. But this is like a plug converter. You can plug all of these things into Canvas, and then it makes things beautiful for everybody and it makes things work. So that brings us to today. What is a common cartridge file? So a common cartridge file is going to allow us to do many things. And I actually stole this next image from the IMS global website. So what it really does, it takes all the content that a provider has for you. So for us, it's Savvas. It takes all the content that Savvas has and it puts it all in one place for us. And it makes it work for all of our students and all of our teachers. So this is a couple of the history classes that we've got with Savvas right now. You go in and you've got all this content. You can see we've got all kinds of resources, 2,550 resources right here, or rubrics that we've got, all kinds of different resources that our teachers can go out and grab and they can use. They can take it into an LMS and they can use it that way. But that can be cumbersome at times because it's like, oh my gosh, we've got so much here. What do we do with this? So what it allows us to do, this is an image or a screenshot of our LMS once we bring in this common cartridge files. It makes links out to all of this content. And this content, we can actually have it living right inside Canvas or linking out to the Savvas website. And we can come in and we can turn these on, we can turn them off. We can choose to edit out the ones that we don't need or to keep the ones that we feel like we do need. Also, it provides us with equity for our students. So now we can build something from the district level. We can get all of our district content aligned just like we want it, and we can make sure that everybody's got that equity. Also, it provides us with access to it. So once we have everybody inside of Canvas, providing them with a Chromebook and a hotspot is all that we need to get them to that. Now, we don't want to take away our teachers' individuality. So what we choose to do from there is the teachers can go in then and add in their custom lessons, and build stuff in there to meet the needs of their students. So that individuality is there. We like to call this like our vanilla ice cream, and then the teacher gets to come in and put their sprinkles and their syrups and all of that in there. All right, so what we do is we build out these custom courses, as I was saying, and Canvas has this great feature that's built into it called blueprinting. So I can blueprint this course once we get that vanilla class built, the base class of our, this is our district curriculum. We can then push that out through a blueprint course, and that will go to every student in Canvas and every teacher in Canvas so that, again, that equity and access is going to be there. Every teacher and every student is going to have access to that, and it's going to be pre-built for them, ready to go. So how do we evaluate if your district's ready for a common cartridge? So this is something that you really need to talk with your district about. First off, district goals. You got to look at what is the goal of your district. If the goal of your district is to give your teachers full autonomy, and you trust your teachers to go and build stuff all on their own, and you want to put that weight on them to do that, you know, That's fine. I know a lot of school districts right now are choosing Google Classroom because it's easy and they can just, the teachers can go in there, but you don't have a lot of oversight for that. So equity and access for your students, then I just don't feel like you can show that you're doing that. So look at your district go. Second, do you have an LMS in place? Do you have a Canvas? Do you have a Schoology? Do you have a D2L? Any of those things right there and in place. Um, so do you have common pacing guides? For us, we are in a hybrid model right now where some students are at home, some students are here in the building with us. We're giving students choice, whether they are in parents' choice, whether they want to be at home or in school. So it's very important for us, for our remote learners to be at the same place that our face-to-face learners are. So for that, we have to have a common pacing guide across our whole district. So if you're going to be on a common pacing guide where everybody is at the same place, then this is a great way to do it, is through using thin common cartridges inside of LMS. And last is common assessments. We like to have common assessments for all of our students so that we can just see where everybody's at across the district. And by using thin common cartridge files, this helps us to do that. So that's how we would evaluate if you're ready for that. All right, so what should we be listening for and ask for when speaking with ed tech vendors? So first off, the first thing I would ask them is, they're all going to tell you, or most of them are going to tell you that they do have a thin common cartridge file, or they have a common cartridge file so they can bring it into your LMS. The first thing I'm going to ask them is, what type of integration do you have? Just because you have an integration doesn't mean that it's a good integration. So not all integrations are created equal. Some was just links out to a site. Some assessments live on other sites. We're looking for words like grade passback. We're looking for words like rostering, things like that. Then you also want to see, can I customize? Can I customize my common cartridge? So some vendors will just send you a blank. Uh, here's your common cartridge file, and this is it. You get what you get, and you can't customize it any. It's there. Others will allow you to go in and select the things that you want and then create your custom common cartridge file yourself and then bring that back in there. So the biggest things is for me is that customization, and where does the assessments live? Is my assessments going to live on your website, or are my assessments going to live inside of my LMS? Because a lot of times that can depend on whether or not your assignments are graded, and then will go into your Canvas gradebook or your LMS gradebook, which then will go back to your student information system. So where that assessment lives, where the linkage lives, all those things are very important. And then you're looking for things like Clever, One Roster. How do I get my students into the class, and then syncing? How's my grades going to be syncing? Those are the things that we're all looking for. So as I said, all thin common cartridge files are not created equal. So that's one thing we want to be looking at. Links to sites, no grade passback. So some do not have that grade passback. If they don't have grade passback, that means that you're going to be living in two different walled gardens. You're going to have your content over here, and you could have some grades in here if your students have created assignments, but then you're going to have other grades that's going to be over here in their website. And if it doesn't pass the grades back, now you get them in two separate places, and it's going to cause a lot of problems for you. So you really want to be looking for that grade pass back. And again, last, that customization. We have to be able to customize. So I just want to go back and follow up on, what are we asking our teachers to do? As I talked about in the beginning, we're asking them to be content designers. We're asking them, to be lesson planners, videographers, film editors, content curators. But then we're asking them to do their traditional jobs too, being a teacher, grader, redirector, motivator, communicator. With a thin common cartridge file, we can take care of 90% of this side of the work for our teachers. We can come in from the district level. We can work with our district coaches. We can build that base content for our teachers. And then using features like the blueprint feature in Canvas, we can push all that out. So Savvas has provided us with that for our English and our history classes. We have the ability to go in and build that at the district level and then push it out to all of our teachers. The base curriculum then, or our district curriculum, is there and ready for our teachers and our students helping us with equity and access, taking a load off of our teachers. And then again, there's a few little things they do inside of here because they want to go in and customize it and make it their own. All of them want their Bitmoji classrooms on there, and I'm okay with that because it adds flavor to their classroom. They all have got those lessons that they teach that go with that standard that they just want to do it on their own. That's okay. They can film those, they can make those, but they don't have the full pressure of I've got to digitize or I've got to figure out a way to deliver all this content to my students. It's done here for me with this thin common cartridge file. So they can come over here and do the things that they do great already. They can come in, they can be teachers. They can start teaching their students. They can work with them one-on-one through Zoom calls, through breakout rooms, through Google Meets. They can come in, they can grade their work, they can start analyzing data, they can redirect the students. Then we're going to give them the time to then do the things that they do great. So just a quick recap: how to evaluate if your district's ready for a thin common cartridge. The main thing is look at your district goals. Look at your district goals. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? What do you want to provide for your students? What do you want to provide for your teachers? That's the first big one for me. All right, the next one is what to listen to when you're speaking to your vendors. For me, again, it's big on the type of integration. Most of your vendors today will say, we have a thin common cartridge, or we integrate with Canvas, or we integrate with Schoology or Blackboard. Also talk to them about price, because some vendors like Savvas provided these thin common cartridges files for us for free. Other vendors will charge you for that. So talk to them about price. All right. And then last, these are not all created equal. Some do have grade pass back. Some do not have grade pass back. Some have rostering. Some do not have rostering. Some of your content will live inside of your LMS. Some will not. So you just need to make sure that when you're talking to your vendors, these are the things that you're looking for. All right, so I'm Lance Key. As I said before, I work in Putnam County, Tennessee, Google Certified Innovator and Trainer, Level 1, Level 2. Thank you to Savvas today for having us on and going over all of the things about thin common cartridges.
Lance, on behalf of IMS Global, I'd like to thank you for sharing your story and the great successes you're having there in Putnam County School System. I'd also like to thank those who are watching, and I want to remind everyone that today's webinar is a part of a larger series that shares best practices on conducting smart and sustainable digital learning while facing the challenges that we see today. We look forward to seeing everyone soon and continuing the conversation.